Hello everyone, my name is Raghuveer. I'm a PhD student in the Signal Analysis and Interpretation Lab at USC, Los Angeles. Today I'll be presenting our work titled An Empirical Analysis of Information Encoded in Disentangled Neural Speaker Representations. And here are the people that I've collaborated with for this work. So first, I'll introduce what I refer to as speaker embeddings in the rest of the talk. Speaker embeddings are low-dimensional speech representations that are discriminative of speaker identity. These have applications such as in voice biometrics, where the task is to verify a person's identity from speech. They also have applications in speaker-adapted ASR models. They can also be used in speaker diarization, where the task is to determine who spoke when in multi-party conversations. This can be of particular use in meeting analytics and many other applications. Good speaker embeddings should satisfy two properties. First, they should be discriminative of speaker factors. Second is that they should be invariant to other factors. So what are the factors of information that could be encoded in speaker embeddings? For ease of analysis, we broadly categorize them as follows. First is the speaker factors. These are related to the speaker's identity, for example, the gender, age, etc. The content factors, these are acquired during speech production by the speaker. For example, emotional state portrayed in the speech signal, sentiment, whether it is positive, negative, or neutral, the language being spoken, and most importantly, the lexical content in the signal. And third is the channel factors. These factors are acquired during signal capture at the microphone. It could be the room acoustics, the microphone's nonlinearities, background acoustic noise, and also the artifacts related to the compression of signal, etc. As I mentioned previously, good speaker embeddings are supposed to be invariant to nuisance factors. These are the factors that are not related to the speaker's identity. Such invariance is useful for robust speaker recognition in the presence of background acoustic noise. They are also useful for detecting a speaker's identity irrespective of the emotional state of the speaker and also independent of what the speaker says. This is particularly useful in text-independent speaker verification applications. So with this background as a motivation, the goal of our work is twofold. First is to quantify the amount of nuisance information in speaker embeddings. Second is to investigate to what extent unsupervised disentanglement helps to remove the nuisance information. Most existing literature only perform the analysis based on one or two datasets. Uh, Comprehensive analysis is lacking. Also, most of these works do not consider the dependence between the individual variables in the dataset. For example, in the red dots dataset, lexical content and the speaker identities are entangled, where some sentences are spoken only by a few speakers. Therefore, it will be possible to predict the speakers based on lexical content alone. We intend to mitigate these limitations of previous works by making the following contributions. Firstly, we use multiple datasets to comprehensively analyze the information entangled in neural speaker representations. Secondly, we analyze the effect of disentangling speaker factors from nuisance factors on the entangled information. Here, I'll briefly detail what I mean by disentanglement in the rest of the talk. We define disentanglement broadly as the task of separating out information streams from a given signal. Here's a quick example. The input speech signal from a little girl who is happy that she just bought herself a lightsaber contains rich information related to various factors. It contains information about the girl's identity, including her perceived gender and age. The information pertaining to the girl's emotional state is also encoded. More importantly, the language identity and the lexical content are also embedded in the signal. The goal of a disentangled embedding extractor is to separate out these information streams. And in the context of speaker embeddings, which are supposed to capture speaker identity related information, all other factors such as her emotional state and the lexical content are considered nuisance factors. It is these nuisance factors which we propose to remove from the speaker embeddings to make them more robust. Now I'll explain the methodology behind the disentangled speaker embedding extraction. This is the model we use. As input, we can use any speech representation such as MFCCs or spectrogram, or even speaker embeddings from pre-trained models such as X vectors. And using the unsupervised disentanglement adapted from a method that was previously proposed in the computer vision domain, we try to separate out the speaker related information from the nuisance information. Please note that this method was previously proposed in our earlier work, and you can find more details in that paper. However, for completeness, I'll explain the method here as well. Our architecture comprises two models. The main model, which are shown in the green blocks here, and the adversarial models shown in the blue. The input X first passes through an encoder, which splits it into two embeddings, H1 and H2 as shown in the figure. The embedding H1 is fed into the predictor, which predicts the speaker labels Y hat. The embedding H2 is concatenated with a noisy version of H1, which is denoted by H1 prime here. H1 prime is obtained by passing H1 through a dropout model to randomly remove certain elements of H1. And H2 along with the noisy H1, which is H1 prime, are concatenated and fed into a decoder which tries to reconstruct back the original input X. The motivation behind using the dropout is to make sure that H1 is an unreliable source of information for the reconstruction tasks, and training in this way makes sure that the information required for reconstruction is not stored in H1, and only the information required for speaker embeddings are stored here. In addition, we also use two disentangler models, which are shown in blue. These models are jointly trained to perform poorly in predicting H1 from H2 and H2 from H1. The goal of these models is to ensure that H1 and H2 are not predictive of each other, thus making sure that they do not contain similar information. This way, we can achieve disentangled representations. And the equations that we use to optimize the models are shown here. The main model produces two losses. One is a standard cross entropy loss from the predictor, which predicts speakers. And the second is the mean square error reconstruction loss from the decoder. And the adversarial models use mean square error loss. The overall loss function is shown here. We try to minimize the loss with respect to the main models while maximizing the adversarial loss. This training process was adopted from a previous work, as I mentioned before, where they use this technique on a closed-set digit recognition task. On successful training, the embedding H1 is expected to capture speaker discriminative information, and the embedding H2 is expected to capture nuisance information. Notice that we have not used any labels of the nuisance factors such as the noise types, channel conditions, etc. For training our models, we use the standard Voxelab training corpus, which consists of in-the-wild videos of interviews with celebrities. We add artificial noise and reverberation, which is standard practice in training speaker embeddings. This results in 2.4 million utterances from around 7,300 speakers. As mentioned before, we can either use spectrograms or MCCs as input, or we could also use speaker embeddings from pre-trained models, which we do in this work. So we use X vectors extracted from publicly available pre-trained models as input. X vectors, as most of you already know, are speaker embeddings obtained from the intermediate layer of a time-delayed neural network that is trained to classify speakers from a large dataset artificially augmented with noise and reverberations. And this model has shown to provide state-of-the-art performance on multiple tasks that require speaker discriminability. We use multiple datasets in our evaluations as mentioned here. And by evaluating some factors, for example, emotion on multiple datasets, we could also rule out the issue of dataset bias creeping into the models. And following other similar works, we make the assumption that better classification performance of the speaker embeddings for a factor imply that there is more information present in the embeddings with respect to that factor. And as a baseline, we use X vectors as speaker embeddings. Since our model takes X vectors as input, we can consider our speaker embeddings as a refinement of X vectors, with speaker discriminative information retained and nuisance factors removed. We also reduce the dimension of the X vector by using PCA to match the embeddings obtained from our models. So here are the results. This first set of results shows the accuracy of predicting speaker factors using X vectors, shown in blue, and using our method shown in red. And in this case, higher is better. The first two graphs here show speaker classification accuracy, and the other two show gender prediction accuracy. So we find that in general, both X vectors and our embeddings perform pretty well in classifying speakers and genders. And we see a slight degradation using our method. However, the differences are very minimal. One other observation is that in IMOCAP, we find a poor performance of both X vectors and R model. We conjecture that this behavior could be due to speaker overlap. And also this dataset is not particularly suited for speaker recognition tasks, since the purpose of this dataset was emotion recognition. Now coming to the more interesting results. Here we show the results of predicting the content factors using X vectors and our speaker embeddings. And in this case, since these are nuisance factors, lower is better. We find that in all the cases, our model reduces the amount of nuisance information. In particular, emotion and lexical information are reduced to a great extent. Here, the lexical accuracy is the accuracy of predicting the sentence spoken given speaker embedding of that sentence. And apart from the emotional and lexical content, we also see a reduction in the information pertaining to sentiment, which is closely related to emotion, and also language. In this slide, we report the results of predicting the channel factors using X vectors and our speaker embeddings. Again, in this case, lower is better. In particular, we focus on three factors: the room, microphone distance, the microphone location, and the noise type. We find that in predicting the location of the microphone used and the type of background noise present, X vectors have a much higher accuracy than our embeddings. This means that we are able to successfully reduce the amount of this nuisance information from X vectors. However, we notice that in predicting the room in which the recording was made, it was surprising to see that both X vectors and our speaker embeddings are very effective. This needs further investigation. Here we show the results of our evaluation when we evaluate our models for speaker verification task and compare with X vectors. The detection error trade-off curves are shown, where the false positive rate and the false negative rates are scaled non-linearly to make the curves more linear compared to the ROC curves. And here the curves that are closer to the origin denote better models. The black dotted lines show the X vector model, and all the other lines denote R models, with and without LDA-based dimensionality reduction. We found statistically significant differences only in the graphs where the EER numbers are mentioned. Most notably, in challenging scenarios with babble and television noise in the background, our models perform better than X vectors. Also, in the distant microphone condition, our models perform significantly better than X vectors. We also found that the model M2 that is trained with augmented data performs slightly better compared to the model M1 that is trained with no artificial augmentations. This actually conforms with expected behavior. So finally, I would like to quickly present a discussion based on our experiments, which hopefully will be useful pointers for future research in this domain. First, we find that speaker embeddings do capture a lot of information pertaining to nuisance factors, and this can sometimes be detrimental to robustness. And we also found that just introducing bottleneck on the dimensions of speaker embeddings by using PCA doesn't remove nuisance information. This points to the need for explicit removal of nuisance factors. And using the unsupervised adversarial invariance technique, which is the technique that we use in our model, we can reduce the nuisance information from the speaker embeddings. And the biggest advantage is that labels of nuisance factors are not required for this method. We also found that unsupervised disentanglement retains gender information. This actually suggests that speaker gender, as captured by neural representations, is a crucial part of identity. This is quite intuitive from a human perception point as well. Essentially, what this shows is that neural representations, in some sense, follow human perception. Finally, disentangled speaker representations show a better verification performance in the presence of a variety of challenging conditions, particularly babble and television noise, which are considered very challenging for this task. Going forward, we would like to explore methods to further improve disentanglement. And so far, we have not, as I mentioned before, we have not used any nuisance labels. So we would like to see if we use nuisance labels wherever they are available, can we achieve better disentanglement? So that brings me to the brings us to the end of my presentation. Those are the references. Finally, I would like to acknowledge the support of USG for this work, and that's it. Thanks a lot for listening to my presentation. Please feel free to send me an email with any questions or suggestions you might have. Thank you.